Hello everybody. Looks like it's time to plant corn. I mean, tractor's all waxed up, so it must be, right? Of course, they're saying rain tonight, figures. But thought I'd give a quick once over of my corn planter. Let's see. Well, I've got dry fertilizer, which I'll be loading up here in a moment. There's just a little auger down in there that pulls it to the side, drops it through the tube. That disc cuts a hole in the ground and drops it in. I'm putting it about 2 inches over and 2 inches down from where the seed ends up. I am mostly no-till. So there's my no-till coulter to help break up the dirt in a row. This is a white 6600 planter. It's in the same series as the 6100 planters, but the difference is it's a double frame planter. Most planters would have the row units up in here. This one has a double frame. Originally got it. We used to pull it behind a row-till, push hog row-till, which was a one-pass tillage. It did strip tillage, and then the planter was hooked on behind it. And with the lift wheels between the row units and our rocks, every now and then a rock would come up and get pinched between the lift wheel and the row unit and cause damage. And so when I upgraded planters, I went to this double frame, which gives more room. The idea on the double frame was there's enough room, you can put more row units in between, and you could plant 15-inch rows and doing beans. And then you can lock them up when you're just doing corn and disengage the drive for those rows, and then you're only planting 630s. And you can do it all with one machine, easy to switch out. But I like the clearance in it. It's nice for filling up. You let it down. You can walk right between the row units to put your bags of seed in. Let's see. So how this baby works is the seed disc isn't in yet. That's what I got to do next here. I do believe I want the large one. Got your seed disc. Should have washed these. It mounts on there, and then the white planter uses a blower to create air pressure. That's the central, boo, right there. Just a centrifugal fan driven by a hydraulic motor. Mine's driven off hydraulics on a tractor by a power beyond port. And it doesn't take a whole lot to run it, especially for just a 6-row machine. Pressurizes the tube. Each row gets air pressure. Air pressure comes down through the tube and enters right up in here. And then, of course, the seed disc would be on here. And seed comes down out through here. And I'll put the disc on in a moment. But as air is blowing in, each cell has a little hole, and the air rushes out through there, and the air rushing by there holds the seed in the cell. Helps and singulates it out. Very gentle on the seed, just being held on just by a few inches of air pressure. These are called Tickler Brushes, and what they do is if 2 seeds get into a cell, they just tickle the seeds, and the second one, the outer one, will fall off. Of course, if you can adjust your air pressure depending on your seed size and shape and everything. So if you have too much air pressure, it don't matter. These tickler brushes ain't going to knock them off. If you have too little, they could even knock off the first seed. So then it rotates around, and then when it gets to this brush, that brush cuts off the air pressure and holds the seed in place for the last bit of turn. And then when it gets down here to the seed tube where it drops down in the trench, there's no air pressure there. So it falls out of the cell, drops down through the tube, goes down into the trench that these disc blades are opening, goes into the slot in the ground. Then these wheels go in the dirt, kind of push it, break it up, push it together to seal it up. Drag chain, this is my first year running those, but they go over the top to kind of help break it up and smooth out the finish and help fill in the trench if didn't pull together good or whatever. These are row cleaners. Just sweep any residue off the row, so you got a good clean row that warms up a little better. Oh, let's see. So I'll put that seed. This whole system was invented by a man named Harry Tickler. It's been a while since I've seen Harry, but I've gotten to know him. Back before, well, probably before, I think it was before I was born. He was our service rep from Oliver for our territory. And Harry's a smart guy. He's also modest. He'll tell you he just knows enough to be dangerous. So, oh, there's my seed plate in. And you can see the little holes. And I'll get footage of it out in the field of that turning. But, so he's working as a service rep for Oliver, and he came up with this idea. And actually his original idea was to use vacuum instead of air pressure. And in his basement, he swiped his wife's vacuum cleaner and kind of made a crude, first prototype unit where the vacuum held seed against a plate. And he found out what John Deere found out later on when they basically copied this and come out with their vacuum planner that used vacuum instead of air pressure. Is that when air pressure drops and you create a vacuum, the temperature drops, and so you get condensation. Then the seed wants to stick to the cells, and so you had to run talc or some kind of powder through to help keep the seed flowing. And with the air pressure, you didn't have that. And so he changed his design, and then when he finally had something that was working pretty decent, he went to the guys there in South Bend and told them, because that's where the planters were made at that time, told them his idea. They had him work it up, transferred him out of service and into engineering, and designed the first plant air planter, and those had a little electric fan on each row unit. Generally, there was always a service bulletin about putting bigger alternators on tractors when you started getting into several rows, and all those fans, it drew some amps. And each row would have a fan on it, blow air in, and then they, of course, always improving designs. They came up with a central blower that worked a lot better. You could vary the pressure easier to your seed conditions, and even air temperature can make a difference on how much air pressure you need. But pretty ingenious design, I think. Just very gentle on the seed, very good at singulating. Doesn't do quite as good with flat seeds, but it does great with rounds. Very good for soybeans. It's a different seed disc for soybeans than it is for corn. Every grain has got a different shape, so they have a different seed plate for whatever you're planting. I know the precision stuff that's out now is supposed to be pretty darn accurate. It's also pretty darn expensive. Oh, nearby road's actually getting paved. Let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know. You take one of these units and put it up against them, a precision will do better, but for what it costs, I don't know if it does enough better. The guys that got them swear by them. But this was one of the very last planters we ever sold. I actually put this one together myself. It was just the frame with the wheels, lift wheels on it. The tongue, this bar wasn't on here, none of the fertilizer units. The tongue was separated there where it bolts together. And then all these row units were in a box. Had to put these on, had to slide the whole assembly up to the bar there, bolt it on, measure it out to put the spacing where it, set it up how well hopefully a customer want it, which 30-inch rows is pretty much what everybody plants around here, so that was pretty simple. Bolt on the fertilizer units. Of course, that stuff can all be changed to different things, but so yeah, there was a lot of assembly to do to it. So I don't know, kind of attached to it, does a great job, and I built it with pretty much my own two hands. So Oh, let's see. I guess we need to get things out. I'm going to put this stop for a moment and get the rest of the seed discs on and get her ready to go so I can go plant some before it rains. Yeah, loading up. 1550's running good. I just put a new distributor in it last week. That old Holly finally gave up. I am running MAP 11520, 11% nitrogen, 52% phosphorus for my starter. It'll come out faster than that. Generally, I do her a little on the slow side, and that way the gate's close enough, no big chunks can come through. And then while it's loading, I can put seed bags in the row unit. Now my air pressure is way high, which I'd had the fan turned up to blow any crud and stuff out of the tubes before I loaded up and put seed discs in when I was pre-season checking. Generally about 2.5 to 3 is about right. We'll try there, see what the monitor tells us. Now I think we're ready to head to the field. Okay, here we go. First corn of the 2020 season. and check my seed depth and pick that rock right there. Oh, I know I got my tape measure here. Oh, about 2 1/4. About the same on there. I'm gonna drop some dirt back in, about the same there. And 2 1/4-ish. It'll be a little shallower once I get off from the work ground. If you watch the video of me planting hay with this and rolling with the 1650. Oops. Okay, that's not a hand brace. Let's see. Oh, I was running over this with a color mulcher, and the only reason it's worked up, this was wheat last year, and I let my cousin knife in manure. He needed a place to get rid of some hog manure, and hey, free fertilizer. So so anyways, I had most of the field disc down with a cover crop on it, and after that he still had some more to haul. Hadn't done the headlands, so he did those, which of course looks like chisel plowed ground. So I disced it down and hit it with a color mulcher. Hey, another rock, to smooth her out. So the rest of the field will look something like this. And it with its friend and other friends. I've got rocks. Rock. Oh, there's the purse. I'm gonna have to get me more of those scrapers. I don't liking them. All right, now let's get back to planting. See if we can dial things in on the old monitor. I might have to turn the air pressure up a skosh. I'm shooting for right about 30,000. So if I start getting singles, it reads out lower. If I start getting doubles, it reads out higher. So I'm pretty close. Might plant just a little bit more. Usually the air pressure goes up once, just a little skosh when the hydraulics get warmed up and the fan can spin a little faster. let me know that it's not dropping corn on at least one row. Of course, I just lifted up the turn, so. What the heck is squeaking? I checked everything out. Could be a little rock got caught in something that's happened before. Put in 2 days ago. So far it looks good. I'm running out of seed. And it's starting to rain. Guess that's good timing. And I'm out of fertilizer. Basically everything needs ready loaded. And the rain's almost here. It's been spitting off and on, so I think it's time to put stuff away before the real rain gets here. Kind of spitting some right now. But I made my goal. Right there's a wet spot. And I'm really surprised it doesn't have water standing in it. And I think the hard pan, or I let the road commission bury some, they cleaned some ditches and stuff out, told them they could dig a hole and bury it there, and that would break up the hard pan. It's surrounded by sandy ground. There's like a clay hard pan, a low spot to hold the water. And they went in there with the vibrating roller and packed it right down, and it's just didn't want to drain. It's been getting better each year, and I think that things that finally loosened up where it can drain better, but it's definitely doing a lot better this year. Now the rain keeps picking up, so I got everything put away. I did notice some erratic readings on my speed, and I got checking, and the speed sensor is way up in there, but it's not running in the middle of its little gear that it reads off from. That's probably where occasionally it's reading low, which would explain it. Every now and then the population readout would go up and the speed would go down, so the math was still working out. But anywho, that won't take but a minute. Just gotta loosen a set screw and slide the gear over a little bit. And I want to thank everybody for watching once again. We'll see you in the next video.